Hi guys, and welcome to the Marc the Shark MMA show. Appreciate you guys watching me here on my Twitch channel. And don't forget, please follow me. If you happen to have an Amazon Prime account, you can subscribe for free. And also make sure you follow me on my social media accounts, including the Marc the Shark MMA show, YouTube channel, the Marc the Shark MMA show, Facebook channel. My Twitch channel is Marc BJJ Fighter. And my Instagram is Marc_Retorto. And don't forget, it's Marc with a C and not a K. And don't forget to visit the website where you can sign up to be a guest, you can sign up to become a sponsor, or you can shop. Get fabulous hoodies and t-shirts like the one I'm wearing right here. Not too shabby, right? And also you can make a donation. And also don't forget that I also have a podcast that comes out either on iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Podbean, pretty much everywhere. I have a new episode that comes out every Friday or Sunday, depending on how the week goes. And then I'll be here on Twitch every Saturday, so make sure you watch me every single Saturday on this channel. All right, guys, stay tuned and watch the show and enjoy it.
Guys, if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel and hit the alert button so you get updates. And also, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. This podcast episode is brought to you by Defense Soap. Defend what you have built. Save 15% with the code Marc the Shark MMA Show, used by all jiu-jitsu and MMA athletes to prevent skin infections. This podcast is also brought to you by Audible. Go to www.audibletrial.com/MMA Show, and you get a free audiobook when you sign up for a 30-day trial. This episode is also brought to you by HostGator. Save 60% on your web hosting needs by using the promo code Marc the Shark MMA Show. Again, save 60% on your web hosting needs with HostGator. This podcast episode is also brought to you by Retorto Family Books. If you're interested in great books for your children to read, get books by Christina Retorto. And if you're interested in action, thriller, suspense books, you can get The Cabal, The Saga Begins, or fantasy books like Marcus the Vampire, both written by your host, Marc the Shark Retorto. Again, go to www.retortofamilybooks.com. Also, do not forget to go to the Marc the Shark MMA Show podcast website, the shop for our merchandise. We got t-shirts, hoodies, tank tops, hats, and even mugs. Anything you can want with the Marc the Shark MMA Show podcast name on it. And also, please do not forget to go to our website where you can make a donation to support the podcast. All you have to do is click on the donation button. All right, guys, we're back on the Marc the Shark MMA Show. Today, I got a very special guest, UFC fighter, Sam Alvey. How you doing today, sir?
Hey, I am doing wonderful. How are you today?
Good. Yeah, so you're a very busy man, right? You still, what are you training? You just got done training?
Oh, good.
Did you just, you got done training now, or?
Oh, man. Always keep me busy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
how did you get a little background on you? How did you get into mixed martial arts? I think you did some wrestling in high school, right?
Yeah, kind of. But that I don't wrestle at all in my fights or even practice. I just kind of stumbled into it. I never watched it, never knew about it, never did any striking or anything. Someone just offered me a chance to fight in the cage, and I said, yeah, let's do it. That would be great. And then I've just ended up in the UFC.
That's kind of crazy, right? Because I was actually going to say that, like in a lot of your fights, like I saw, like I seen on the internet, like you had a little wrestling experience, I guess in high school, or whatever. But like when you watch a fight, you never seem to use any of your wrestling. You seem to be more of a like you like.
Yeah, I'm a team wrestler. I just like doing it, so I did it for a couple of years in high school, a couple of years in college. But yeah, never really wrestled. Was never all that competitive. Just a good practice dummy for the good guys.
Yeah, because you seem to like to strike a little bit more, right?
fans like it. The fans like the punchers more. So I've always got to please them.
Yeah, that's interesting. Now, just for anybody who doesn't know, you were also on The Ultimate Fighter too.
I sure was. I think season 16 or 17, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, and how did you like that experience?
It was good. I tell everyone it was really boring. It was a boring 6 weeks. Not much happens. You're just kind of stuck in a house with 15 other guys, and you just talk about fighting for 6 weeks. You get to work out once, maybe twice a day, not on the weekends. So it was a far easier training schedule than I was used to, and it was a good time though. I met some great coaches. I met some great athletes on the show, and I've been very happy to be working alongside of them since then.
Now, that's interesting that you say that you found that the training during that 6 week period easier than your normal training, because I would think. I'm wondering if the training was easier because you guys were expected to fight more in a shorter period of time. Do you think that was the reason, or is it just that your personal training that you did prior to the show was so intense that you just found out the training was easier?
Oh, that's what I think it is. I think the way I train outside of the UFC or outside of the UFC, the Ultimate Fighter is just far more. So I do far more than I did in the show. I always have, and I plan on always doing it. And when I'm a coach, I'm going to have my guys do more. I'm never gonna go into a fight having trained less than somebody else.
Oh man, that would make sense, right? And then you fought over in Bellator before the UFC, right?
Yep. Even before the Ultimate Fighter, I had back when Bellator was doing the $100,000 tournaments. Fought with Bellator, won one, lost one, and then they cut me.
Okay, and then you went right from there to the UFC. Is that the next?
I from Bellator to I fought a couple times outside of Bellator, and then I went on the Ultimate Fighter. Didn't win the Ultimate Fighter, so I fought in the MFC after the Ultimate Fighter, and after a year and a half or so on the Ultimate or on the MFC, then I went to the UFC. So I had a long career getting there, but I got there, and I hope to stay there forever.
Yeah, you got a lot of fights. 48 fights. That's a lot, man.
70 fights.
That's a lot. Now, what are your expectations for this year, considering like how is it now with the coronavirus? Do you train any differently, or is it that you limit access to just certain training partners?
No, I haven't slowed down at all. I mean, when the world was quarantined, I was still working out twice a day. I'm under 55 and athletic. I've got nothing to fear from it. My training partners have nothing to fear from it. So we've kept a very strong training schedule throughout everything.
Oh, that's it. Pretty interesting. Okay. And now, do you expect to have any more? You have any fights scheduled for this year coming up?
Yeah. October 24th will be my next one. I'll be over on the UFC's Fight Island. I would love to fight at least twice more this year, but we'll see. We'll see what works out. But October 24th, I'm fighting a guy by the name of Da Un Young.
That's interesting. And that's and the island is in Abu Dhabi, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Now, so is this going to be your first time over at Abu Dhabi, or have you been there before?
Yeah. This is my first time over there. I've been to I've been around the world once or twice, but this is my first time there.
Okay. Now, when you travel around the world for your matches, do you get to enjoy it, or is it you're just like so involved with the training and promoting the fight that you don't get to enjoy it?
I'm usually allowed to get out there 1 week prior to the fight. So I get out there a Saturday before the Saturday I fight, and I see the world. So I go out. I'm one of the few fighters that does that. I go out and I experience where I'm at. Been to Poland. I now know I know can't say it. Dansk, Poland. I know a little bit about everywhere I've been. I've eaten the food everywhere. I've had pizza in every country I've ever fought in. And this one in Dubai will actually be a little different because of the COVID. I don't think I'm allowed to see much. I think I'm supposed to stay on the UFC's property. So I'll be in Dubai. I just don't think I'll get to experience Dubai that much.
Yeah, I haven't seen too much footage on like the Fight Island facility, but I'm sure Dana makes it top class, right? Like caters to you guys. You got your gym.
Yeah, everyone says that.
chefs
Yeah.
there cooking for you guys, right?
Yeah, the guys I know that have been there, they've said, yeah, the UFC's gone all out. He said, we will be comfortable, happy, well fed. It'll be good.
Okay. Now, are you still training with Dan Henderson?
Yeah. I'm still getting beat up by Mr. Hendo himself.
Now, how does that feel?
It's so much fun having someone at his level in the gym with me. Just somebody who's been there, done that, beaten that, and can show me a thing or two from anywhere.
Yeah, I mean you get to work out with a legend every day. That's like quite an honor. I mean, like when you started your MMA career, that wasn't your first gym, was it, that you went to, or was it?
No, the first 4 or 5 years of my career, I was self-taught. I kind of started a gym, just made it up as I went. I didn't know who Dan Henderson was until I met him, and I was probably 12-2 or 12-1 when I met him. And then I learned who he was, but that was about the time I learned what the UFC was.
Oh, wow. So you had no idea that the gym you were going to featured a guy who was like a multiple world champion in MMA?
No idea. My wife did a bunch of research when deciding where I was going to go, and she found Team Quest out in Southern California, and she found a couple other gyms too that she thought would have been good fits. But Team Quest ended up being just the right glove.
Yeah, man. And he's still, because he's like in his like mid-40s right now?
He just turned 50 last week.
All right. Oh, really? All right.
Yeah.
So me and him were born on the same, because I turned 50 in December.
Okay.
So me and him are too old for it. Does he still like manhandle people? Like he still got that punch? Was it like Nick Cross or something like that, right? Or something?
Yeah, for 3 rounds, but he's really good for 1 round. So he'll get in there and he'll beat anyone up for most of, for whatever rounds you put him in there.
That's great. Now your wife is your manager, right?
Yeah, she's my manager. She's my chief corner. She's my hand wrapper. She does anything and everything.
Now, was she in the martial arts also?
No,
or?
I started about the same time. I met her before I ever fought, and we've just kind of been growing up with it.
Well, that's pretty interesting. Now you got like a lot of kids too. You got like 5 kids, right?
Yeah, we've got 5 kids. For now, we'll probably have a few more. But for now, I always say, let's see how my next fight goes. So
I laugh too because I got four daughters myself.
Okay.
Whenever I tell people that, their jaw just like drops. Like when I did my online research, I mean, he's got 5, because there's very few people that got more kids than me. So it's like, my hat's off to you.
We've got 3 boys, 2 girls so far.
Yeah, that's a blessing, man. God bless you. And if you're looking at more, God bless you more, man. That's a lot of patience, man.
Well, I'm not money when I get older, so one of these kids are going to be real good at something and be able to retire me.
Yeah, man, that's great. Now, so right now you're at the light heavyweight division, right?
Yeah.
Is the next match is that your weight division that you're planning to stay at?
I'm very willing to go back down to 185. I'm a little small for 205, but I was big for 85. But I hold the power everywhere I fight. Heavyweight, light heavyweight, I hold the power everywhere.
Yeah, I've noticed that when you fight, you just get that. You have like when I watch you fight, it's like you kind of like unorthodox. It seems like, and then you just get that one shot in and you knock people out.
Now, I've heard that a time or two.
Yeah. Now, when you were growing up, like you didn't do any martial other than wrestling. You didn't do anything at all.
Junior and senior year of high school, but I never did. I was a band nerd. I played trumpet for about 20 years. That's as athletic as I was. I played the trumpet. I mean, I played baseball, and I was never any good, but I played it. I liked playing. I liked tooting on my trumpet. I got it on the wall behind me there. There's the guitar.
Yeah, I read about that too, that you're like a good musician. I just started tinkering around with that, with the guitar and the piano myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to do something to keep my mind, during the piano, right? So I had to start something there. Yeah. So you got your fight in October, and then hopefully you get another one in.
So you don't foresee yourself like retiring for a long time then, right?
I hope not. Hendo, he retired at 46, and I would love to, retire at 46 in a day, just to say I've done it longer than him.
And that's an accomplishment, right? And of all the guys you fought, like who do you cite? Who do you think was your toughest opponent?
Nate Marquardt. I think he was probably the toughest guy I fought. He was easily the strongest guy I've ever fought. But then he had the striking and he had the jiu-jitsu. He just had everything that could go wrong for me, and I still found a way to win. But he was the toughest one I fought.
I was gonna say, you beat him. That was 2017, and he was a very. I don't think he fights anymore though, right? Anymore now.
He might have retired.
Yeah. Because he was around for a long time.
Yeah, he was the king of pancrase back in 2001, 2002.
Yeah. And he did a lot of he did I think the Abu Dhabi championships in terms of grappling. Yeah. He's very well rounded. And then you also beat. I mean, hats off to you. You beat some pretty. You can honestly say whether you win the belt or not. There's some question there as to whether. Because you beat some really good opponents. I mean, you beat Nate Marquardt, King of Pancrase, and then you beat Rashad Evans.
Yeah.
I don't recall whether that was before or after he held the belt or not.
Rashad was, I think it was after Marquardt. But, it was another good fight. Would have liked the knockout, but I stopped his takedowns. So that was a big bonus point for me.
Yeah. Now, was that after he had the belt or before he had the belt?
That was after he had the belt.
Yeah, because he's got, he's got pretty good boxing. I mean,
yeah. I felt that too, but for my fight, he wrestled most of it, and I don't think he never got me to touch the ground, so I stopped almost everything.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then you beat Dallas Lates. I mean, he was never a world champion, but Rashad Evans, you beat Nate Marquardt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a pretty. And then you beat. Oh, you lost to Antonio Negre. Yeah.
Yeah. I was winning.
The guy's a beast, man.
Yeah.
I can't go to, hold your head down with that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit. Now, have you ever thought, so you plan to stay and hopefully stay with the UFC. Have you ever thought about, maybe in a few years, moving off somewhere else, or just?
If I can stay with the UFC for the rest of my career, I will. There are a lot of other good organizations out there. I love the PFL. Bellator is a ton of fun. ONE FC, that would be a dream come true to fight overseas like that. Even Russia, they've got a couple of just wonderful shows. So there are a couple other shows that if for whatever reason the UFC, I wasn't working for them, that I would love to work for. But the UFC is it's the king of MMA. I'm just a huge fan of fighting for those guys.
Now, being a fighter, are you also an avid MMA fan? You watch every single fight, even if you're not on the card?
I do not watch every single fight. I didn't see any of the fights from this last weekend.
Yeah,
but I am
busy, so I couldn't watch them either. Busy with the kids.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was taking them to and from a birthday party. So yeah,
that's what I was doing.
Yeah,
actually, I had to sleep over there. Yeah, but I was doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Oh yeah. But they even like watching it. The kids do. They love watching the MMA also.
Now, do you have your kids involved in martial arts at all, like jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. I hope they never fight, but they'll be able to. So yeah, they do jiu-jitsu and wrestling and MMA and tap dance and baseball, and they do everything. They're both playing instruments already. Well, 2 of the 5 are playing instruments already.
Oh yeah, what instruments are they playing?
So my little boy, he's playing the piano, and my little girl, she's playing ukulele.
Okay. Yeah, it's good, man. Music's good for you. Yeah, works your brain.
Yeah.
Now, what's your training schedule like? Do you do 2 sessions a day or 3 sessions?
2 or 3, depending on if I'm in camp or not in camp. Wednesdays I do a little more than the rest of the week, but I try and stay busy. My pro class at Team Quest is 10:30 every day, and then I work out again at night. I'll either do jiu-jitsu or some boxing or Muay Thai. I'll usually get a run or two in there throughout the day. So I get a solid 4 to 6 hours of work a day.
Oh, that's good, man. That's great. I don't know how you guys do that, though.
It's easier.
I just did a few miles today, and I'm tired.
Yeah, it's easier knowing we get paid at the end.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Now, when the UFC, got to ask this question because the UFC did away with allowing to get sponsors, right? Then they switched over to where they were just with Reebok. Did that affect you at all?
Oh, that helped me a ton.
Oh, it did?
Sponsors are hard to get. And for the most part, they never paid. The superstars got paid, the Dan Hendersons, the GSPs, the John Jones, they made some money off it. But the rest of the guys, they didn't make much. So if I had to guess, I'd say the Reebok deal helped more people than hurt them. And especially right now, I think I'm in the high. I think I'm getting $20,000 a fight now from Reebok. And it's helping a ton.
Yeah. Because I remember when it first came out, there was people were saying it helps and then it doesn't help. But to your point, it's good to see that it actually helped. Because like you said, a lot of the sponsors, it's like Jake's Auto Body Shop. Like how much money they're going to give you. You know what I mean?
Right. And and the big ones, the Hayabusa and all that, the UFC prior to Reebok, they made it so if you wanted to sponsor a fighter, you had to pay the UFC is like $20,000 or $40,000 a year, and then you could sponsor however many cards you wanted. So when that happened, the people that could afford sponsorship dropped way down. They just stopped doing it. So you get the Hayabusas and the Condom Depots and stuff that were willing to pay a lot of money to the top guys and almost nothing to the lower guys. So the top guys lost some money on Reebok, but all the lower guys they made up pretty well.
Yeah, which I think everything's got to balance out. You guys, if it wasn't for guys like you, no one would be watching, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think you guys should get a little boost. Actually, tell Danny to give you a raise. Tell him I said Shark gives you a raise. Man, I like to meet that guy. Have you had a lot of personal conversations with Dana, or what? Or is it just
I talked to him personally 4 or 5 times. He's a great guy. I mean, he honestly, he's the same in person as he is on TV. He drops the F-bomb just as much, but he's just as smiling and friendly. Yeah, and he really goes out of his way to talk to his fighters, to enjoy the company of the fighters. So I'm really a big Dana White fan.
Yeah. He seems like he'd be a really cool guy because he's like, what you see is what you get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like we're another, other businesses or, other companies you may work for, like for the normal Joes like me, like the people at the top are like, all like, fake and everything like that. But I guess in your line of work, right, you gotta kind of be honest because guys can take your head off. You know what I mean? All right. Now, have you ever I mean, how to phrase this because I'm assuming that everybody's answer would be yes. What do you think it would if you were? How can I answer this question? How would you feel if you got a title shot right now? Like is there whether it's against John Jones or someone else?
Shoot, I mean, it'd be life-changing. And I truly believe I could beat anyone in the division. I think the light heavyweight division right now, everyone's good, but nobody's close to John Jones good. But now that John Jones is vacating the title, it's an open title, and I think I could beat anyone in the division.
Because I mean, I know everybody's like, oh, I want to fight for the title, but I mean, there's got to be some realistic expectations, right? Because you're gonna go through all this milestone, and then you could possibly be like a fighter, like Nate Diaz, who's like the workhorse. You know what I mean? He doesn't really go for the title, but he goes for the big names fights, or like Cowboy Donald Cerrone, right? Who's more. I want to get as many in, although I think it's more because he's an adrenaline junkie. he's just. I mean, anybody who rides bulls, jumps out of airplanes on a week they gotta go for a fight. I mean, that's just like someone off the planet. But he's great to watch, though. I admire that guy.
Everyone loves Cerrone.
Have you met him?
Yeah, Sorny's great. I have met him, I don't know, a dozen times or so. Yeah, he's great. Yeah, very friendly, very, very down-to-earth guy.
Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever, because you see like some fighters, they put on the show, I hate you, I'm going to kick your ass, and the other guy's going back. Some of that I think is a lot of show. But have you ever like gotten to a fight and then after your fight, like you guys aren't that banged up, like go out and have a beer with the guy or anything like that? Or
I'm very friendly with everybody I've sparred with or everyone I fought with. I don't drink, so I can't say I've ever went and had a beer with anyone. But I've gone out and just hung out with the guys before.
that'd be pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I remember I went to it.
Still Facebook and Instagram friends with 4 or 5 of them.
Oh, that's interesting, right? And then, because I remember I went to a UFC. This is like decades ago. It was in Atlantic City. I think one of Henzo's guys was that Matt Serra. I think he was fighting at the time. And then after the fight, I mean, this is the one thing I love about MMA that you would never see with any other professional sport. You had the event, and then after the event, all the fighters were hanging out in the casino afterwards, which I thought was really cool. So they were like really approachable, Whereas like if you were to go to like a professional basketball game, or a baseball game, chance of you hanging out with the professional athletes, slim to none. But they were all like hanging out, talking to people after the casino. It's like
Shoot. When I fought Alex Nicholson, we actually hung out before the fight. I think it was the day before weigh-ins. We went and chilled in the hot tub for an hour together. We just kind of shot the shit, and this was 2 days before we fought.
That's unique. I think some fighters think they actually have to have it in their head that, I guess some do, right? Like I gotta train myself to hate this guy in order to put a beat.
Yeah, I never got that. I understand. I mean, some people, not many fighters are like me. A lot of fighters grew up their entire lives knowing they were going to be fighters, knowing that they were going to beat the best in the world. I had no idea. I didn't mean to be a UFC fighter. I stumbled into it, and it's the greatest mistake I've ever made. I love this sport. I love what I do, and I love every opportunity that MMA has given me in life.
Yeah. That's why your nickname's Smiling, right?
Yes, sir.
You're always smiling. That's a good outlook to have on life, though, right? I have a father-in-law like that. He never takes a lot to get him mad, but his main focus, I think, like when he was younger, he was always like he had some incidents that mentally affected him. He got him mad at the world, but then he changed his whole mindset at one point in his life. Now it's like you gotta live life, right? You gotta enjoy it, be happy.
Yeah, I get paid to do something I would have done for free. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this.
It's great. It's great. And it's like kind of a blessing for you guys, right? Because not everybody gets to do that, right? They get the job, deal with the boss they don't like, come home, do the work. It's great. It's great to see.
Yep. No, I love my job. I love clocking in. I love my boss. I couldn't be happier.
Yeah. Now, with all the people, whether it's you fought them before or not, like who was like your favorite MMA fighter? Whether it's someone you train with or someone before, like.
Well, I've always liked Rashad Evans. He was always a cool dude, at least on camera. Now I've met him a few times afterwards, and he's great. Frank Mir is one of the coolest guys I've ever gotten to hang out with at all. Shane Carwin, he's my coach on The Ultimate Fighter. He's just a wonderful guy. And then of course, my main coach, Dan Henderson. He's just, we have dinner together every now and then. So he's easily one of my better friends of all the fighters I've ever had or ever met.
Now, does Randy Couture come by at all, or?
No, I've only met Randy once or twice, and I don't think he'd recognize me.
That's great, though, man. That's great. Yeah, I met Frank Mir once. Not that he's ever going to remember. It was actually, I'm from Jersey, so it was like a sporting arena near my house. It's a Caucus.
Okay.
And Matt Serra was on that card, too.
Yeah.
And I think that was the night Matt Serra got knocked out by spinning backfist. But I shook Frank Mir's hand. I just remember
he's a fucking big dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
He beat Tank Abbott. That was before he became
That would have been a minute ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just remember, because he was just coming up. He was like a young kid at the time. I think he was like 20 or something. And I just remember shaking his hand, and I'm like, he's a big dude. My whole hand was like disappeared inside his hand. You know?
Yeah.
And, but yeah, that was a great show. I'll never forget that. I think Randy might have fought in that fight one too. I think Randy was on that card.
That was before I was watching MMA, so I know all the names, but I don't know that. Like, I've never met Tank. I don't remember the fight between him and Mir. That was all before I was an MMA fan.
Now, what was the first MMA fight that you see that said, "Oh, I want to do it. I want to get in there"?
I didn't watch MMA till I was like 10-1 as a pro. No, I never watched. I didn't know about it. It was just something fun somebody said I could do. The event. Oh, my kid's climbing stuff he shouldn't be. I didn't grow up watching. I don't remember the first fight I watched. Honestly, it might have been Hendo versus Bisping. But then again, I don't remember if I saw that fight live or if I saw that fight eventually.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. So I've been fighting for about 14 years, and it's been about 10 years that I've been watching MMA.
That is like, I have to say, that is like very unique, because every other MMA fighter I've ever interviewed for, they like said they've seen the event, and they're like, oh, I saw the first UFC, and that's what got me into it.
Yeah, I might be the last one alive that has a story like that, where I didn't mean to be a fighter. I had no desire to be a UFC anything. I just turned out I hit real hard, and I love doing it. So I kept doing it.
That's great, though. Now, you guys have now when you go to Abu Dhabi, are you taking your family, or is it just you and your wife going?
My whole family everywhere I go. But because of the COVID and all that, the UFC is not allowing me to have my whole family there, so it'll just be my wife.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. But yeah, hopefully, this COVID thing dies down and everything can return to normal.
I got a feeling right around November 4th it's going to die down and go away.
Yeah, so do I. So do I. That's my prediction, right the day before or whatever.
Yeah.
So you still play music instruments or
yeah, I learned piano and the ukulele with my kids. I can still play the trumpet, but I'm not nearly as good as I once was. And my little girl, it was real important to us that we got her to school without a mask or without it. So we've got her in a private school, and it sounds like I'm going to help out teaching trumpet at that school a little bit too. So I'm still fairly musically inclined. I've been told I'm the greatest karaoke voice ever.
We got to get that on film.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's great. Well, man, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but man, it's a great honor to have you on the show, and I look forward to seeing your fight in October. Hopefully, get it done.
No, I thank you so much for having me on, and I can't wait for the fight.
Yeah, when you knock the guy out, say this is for Marc the Shark.
Yes.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Hey, you too, sir. Thanks for having me on.
Enjoy your family and have a good one. I really appreciate it.
Hey, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We'll be right back, but first a word from our sponsors.
During World War II, I was in prison in a Nazi camp. I died there, or so I thought. Instead, I became a creature of the dark world. Now I fight to protect my daughter. I am Marcus the Vampire. The book is now available at Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com and RetortoFamilyBooks.com.
All right, guys. This week's episode is done on a live show. But if you happen to be listening to this in the podcast format, keep listening because there's more content to follow. All right, guys. See you guys next week.